Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And as you can see today, up at the crack of dawn. The reason for that is Jane has guiding today, and she's at the shipwreck, and basically she has to get to the port very, very early in the morning. So she's up about 6:30 in the morning, just getting sorted and ready for her day. So that obviously gets me out of bed. So a bit of a busy morning this morning, sorting out cat litter trays, looking after cats. We're going to go to the vets as well after this broadcast as well. Today's weather, as you can see, absolutely glorious. Can I thank Amanda for her little weather forecast this morning, even though I said I wasn't supposed to be doing one this today. However, it all changes to the plans, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a little while. Basically, lovely blue skies. It's going to be hot today, 32 degrees. It's going to feel like 34. We are on yellow alert. Yellow alert. There's also a fire warning in situ from the local fire brigade. So please be very careful if you're here on the island, whatever you do with your naked flames. Do not accidentally or inadvertently cause a fire, because you will still be classed as an arsonist if you do. So there you go. Lovely blue skies today. Absolutely hot, and you can feel it. You can hear the crickets singing already. And what time of the morning is it? It's early, and you can hear the crickets singing at this time. Right, okay. Let's. I'm going to do the news inside where it's a little bit cooler as well. Big shout out to Sam Curtis. Mary Heidelberg in Sweden is also tuning. Heather Nash, you're all up early this morning. That's all I can say. But there's been quite a bit been going on in the last 24 hours. Big shout out to Steve over there, Steve in Solihull. He says, pity I'm working at a factory. Morning, Ginge, it looks sunny. Thank you, mate. Right, as you were aware, yesterday we were all so excited that we were going to start entertainment tonight at Magdalena's, and obviously we were sorting out the administration, a bit of rushing about. Did my tests yesterday, which I must admit, when she stuck, well, I had to do the tests at the ECA. When she did the test, the lovely lady down at the ECA building, she stuck this thing up my nose. I started laughing. I wasn't expecting it. It actually made me laugh. It tickled me in such a way in my nose. It just was really odd. Anyway, so that got sorted, that got done. It was then decided, just to make sure that we were on the right side of the law, that somebody actually went to the police station yesterday, who also is running a business here as well, to find out, as it were, from the horse's mouth, that everything was allowed to go ahead. However, police then told us, no, sorry, you can't do anything at the moment in the way of live entertainment. The rules and that are not coming in yet. They obviously didn't make it very clear as to dates. I have a feeling they might be looking at the 21st at the moment. So it was decided yesterday by Dennis that we would hang fire at the moment on doing entertainment starting tonight. We're going to wait and see what the official word is, because every Friday the Prime Minister here in Greece does a public announcement where they basically lay out the agenda for the coming week of what their plans are. And we feel that maybe tonight there will be more clarity as to the way we can go forward. I know other people have been informed that they are looking at the 21st. However, the thing that was a bit odd for us yesterday, Jane and I, we went round the town yesterday and we saw posters up in various restaurants saying they've got live music. Things are obviously moving. We know the rules were, if you have live music, your patrons are not allowed to move about. They must stay seated in their seats. We were quite expecting that, and we were ready for that. But also as well, the issue on the clean areas and the mixed areas and the way that those are to be policed, that at the moment still, it amazed me yesterday that people started asking very, very relevant questions about the finer detail of these sterile areas or clean areas and the mixed areas in regards is to ages of people. If you're with somebody who's a minor, basically under the age of 18, are they allowed to sit with somebody? And if they haven't been vaccinated, because obviously vaccinations in the UK are running on a different scale for people between the ages of 18 and downwards than what they are here, there is a kind of a confusion and a clarity that needs to be verified, especially when you're looking at a €50,000 fine if you happen to have the wrong person in the wrong part of your building at the time somebody comes in to check. So again, we're still waiting for more clarity as to how we are supposed to operate under these rules, and also to make sure that our guests can still have a good time. They paid to come on holiday. They expect to be able to come and relax, but not have to go into an environment where it's worse here than in what it probably is back home. So the only difference is the weather. However, we're going to hang fire on that. We're going to wait and see what the word is tonight when the official announcement is made by the Prime Minister's office, and see how we're going to proceed. So maybe I might be in tomorrow in Magdalena's, maybe just doing music. I really do not know. And today we will sort of see if there is any more clarity that's going to come in the announcements today. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for those people who were getting in touch yesterday. Some of them were actually raising some very good questions. And at the moment, we tried to answer them as best we could. But hopefully today we might get a bit more clarity from the authorities above as to how they want us to proceed and how they want us to operate. Obviously, these people never run a bar, they've never run a restaurant, but they sit there in their little ivory towers chucking out edicts without looking at the finer detail of how things are supposed to be implemented and how we're expected to implement what they do. Anyway, looking at arrivals today, it is looking absolutely fantastic, and I'll explain that for you. We've got 3 arrivals from the Czech Republic. We've got 1 from Athens. We've got 2 from Amsterdam. We've got 1 from Brussels, 1 from Israel, 6 from Poland. We've got 1 from Corfu. We've got 4 from Austria. Also as well, from the UK today, we have got 5 flights in from the UK. Hurrah! I hear people shout and cheer. We've got 1 flight from the UK, EasyJet from Gatwick at 11:20. We've then got a TUI flight from Newcastle at 11:40. The Geordies are on the way. We then got a flight from TUI at 12 o'clock from Manchester. So their Manchesters are going to be here. We then got a TUI flight from Doncaster, Sheffield at 18:55. And then tonight at 7:30, there is a Ryanair from Stansted also arriving. I see love hearts being floated on my comments on the side there. So somebody's obviously excited that, yeah, those 5 flights are on the way. So again, that is good from the UK. So we'll see how much busier we are on the streets. All right. Okay, now COVID in the last 24 hours is taking a little bit of a dip here. Remember, we've had a bit of a spike in Greece. New infection rate today is 2,794. That was down from yesterday's 2,938 infections across the new infections across the country. There were 7 cases identified after checks into the airports and the ports of entry. That is also down as well from 11 on the previous day. When it comes to locations where infections are taking place at the moment, Lefkada is saying there's been nothing there. Corfu said they've had 7 new cases of infection there. Kefalonia has had 2 new cases of infection there. And guess what? Zakynthos, I'm afraid, has reported 9 new cases on the island in the last 24 hours. That now brings our total score for the month of July up to 42 cases. When you consider that in June we had 7th, we are now running at 42 cases. And this is one of the reasons why within Greece now, Zakynthos has changed its status. And I will come on to that a little bit more when I do the rest of the news. When it comes to deaths at the moment across the country, deaths at the moment, they are also down, but ever so slightly. We had 7 deaths yesterday reported in Greece. Today, it is 6 new deaths reported. That brings the death toll now to 12,819. Once again, the average age of those people, 79 years of age. 96% of them have underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70. And again, we send our condolences to the families that are affected by their loss at the moment. When it comes to critical cases at the moment, now we did say that critical cases were on the rise just ever so slightly. Brilliant news. Critical cases are now on the decline again. Yesterday, I reported to you 135 cases. It is now dropped down to 132, of which 86 are male and 46 are female. Once again, to remind you, the magic number in regards to critical cases is there's 900 beds across the country for the Greek NHS to be able to cope. And obviously 132 is a very low number for critical cases here in the country. Right then, the news for today then, the Greek government on Thursday urged those who have been vaccinated against COVID-19 to persuade those who are still reluctant to get inoculated to protect themselves, their families and society as a whole. Anyway, the choice is clear. We either get vaccinated or we fall ill, a government spokesman said, the lovely Aristoli Peloni. Now, she said this at the regular press briefing, calling the public to rally around the shared reality and realise that the common rules do not divide us, but they unite. Well, you try telling that to the French. Anyway, currently 5,330,000 people in Greece have had at least one dose of the vaccine, she continued, while 4,430,000 are fully vaccinated. She categorically ruled out another nationwide lockdown, which is good, noting that the government may take localised measures if it becomes necessary due to virus outbreaks. So in other words, what they're saying, depending on how the numbers go, there might be local lockdowns as opposed to a national lockdown. And as we know, national lockdowns, in experience, they don't work. All they do is ruin an economy. Anyway, also as well, she said as well, new legislation will be drawn out to clarify the framework surrounding mandatory vaccination of civil servants. She said that on Thursday. Peloni was responding to a question on an earlier statement by Interior Minister Makis Voldis, who said that the existing civil service code is enough to send a non-vaccinated employee to a disciplinary board and no new laws will be required. Mr. Voldis referred to the current framework for civil servants. The mandatory vaccination is a special framework. A new framework will be submitted that will regulate these issues. She said at a regular press briefing, adding that employees will not be fired or refused will not be fired for refusing to comply. So at the moment, they're still trying to forcibly vaccinate civil servants at the moment. What they're saying basically at the moment is there are new laws that they want to draft to make that possible. But at the moment, the code is enough to send a non-vaccinated employee to a disciplinary board, even though there are no new laws required there at the moment. So again, if you ask me, that's kind of a little bit of a state of confusion that's running around the civil servants at the moment here in Greece. Now, COVID officials also announced on Thursday that unvaccinated tourism and food workers on islands with a high COVID-19 infection rates will have to take 2 coronavirus tests a week. Now, I was already under the impression that we were already having to take 2 coronavirus tests a week, even though technically, Zakynthos, we were in the green. We have now been put into the yellow state, which is level 2, and this happened yesterday. So what they mean by high COVID-19 infection rates, maybe it is islands in the red at the moment, But at the moment, looking at the map at the moment, which I will show you in a little tick, where COVID infections are within Greece, there's nobody in the red at the moment from what I can see on any of the maps. Anyway, the measure was announced by the Civil Protection Minister, Nicholas Hariadis, during the press conference, and came in the wake of a spike in COVID-19 on the islands of Mykonos, where the average new daily infection quadrupled over the past week. Los, Peros and Santorini, as well as the municipalities of Heraklion and Arithmos, which are both in Crete. He was saying that workers will have to take one rapid test and one self-test per week. Hariadis said the same obligation will apply to ferry workers who have not been vaccinated against COVID-19. Well, at the moment, this DJ here in Zakynthos has been very prepared and has already started self-testing twice a week to make sure that he is safe to go wherever he needs to go within a building to actually do his job and not have the vaccine as well. Anyway, they also said at this press conference that the Delta variant of COVID-19 now accounts for almost 50% of the new cases in Greece. As I said earlier on, it seems that central, northern and western parts of Athens, along with the border areas of eastern and western Attica and the port of Piraeus, have all gone up to level 3, which is colour-coded orange, with Grebna in northern Greece, Ionia in the west and Larsia in central Greece, as well as the islands of Salamina and Paros. Now, the infection numbers are also rising on another 16 regional units. I'm not going to go into the names of those. However, let's just say Zakynthos and Kefalonia, they are in now what is called level 2 or yellow. And that announcement was made yesterday, again by the Civil Protection Minister, Nikos Hariadis. Now, the Lefkada area, they also went up as well. They went up into yellow as well. Now, the only municipality that is shown to have an improvement and to drop to the lowest level, which is green, is Lepsos in the Aegean. Anyway, health authorities are also keeping a very close eye on the transmission rates at 4 of Greece's most popular holiday islands. They are Mykonos, Los, Peros and Santorini, as well as the municipalities of Heraklion and also of Crete as well. And if I just quickly show you the map at the moment as it stands. Now, just to make this clear to you, this map that you're looking at now is the Greek health map for within Greece, all right? This is nothing to do with the UK when they talk about amber and everything else. Britain has its own system, but this is our system. As you can see here, this is Zakynthos just over there. You can see we are now in amber. We were in green. We've actually moved from that into amber, okay, or orange. Let's get the wording right. That sounds nicer, doesn't it? Into orange. These areas are slightly more risk up here in the darker shade. And as you can see, we still have areas of green, all right? Crete, Heraklion down here, again in amber, as well as or yellow, and in orange down there as well. So those are the areas. So as you see there, when we say green, that is the lowest level of infection rate. And then obviously red is that color there, that there. But no one at the moment in the whole of the country is at that red level. So again, this is Greece's internal look at how their figures are planning out with the infection rates as well. Right. Let's just move on then. A bit of news that is making the press here in Greece at the moment is the state of Victoria in Australia, including the city of Melbourne, has entered its 5th lockdown since the start of the pandemic. This time is due to a highly infectious Delta variant. Again, the authorities hope that preventative 5-day lockdown will allow them to track contacts and prevent the spread of the virus. The new state of South Wales is already in lockdown until the end of the month. Now, yesterday I did post an article from Australian Sky News. Please, if you've got a spare 5-10 minutes, take a look at Australian Sky News's stance on the lockdown, on the way that the Australian government is handling their crisis in their country. And I think you will be, like me, pleased to see that there is some common sense in the media, and that common sense is coming from Australia with the Sky coverage there of the pandemic, which is 100 million miles away from the UK Sky News's coverage. And as they keep pointing out, Sky Australia, we're nothing to do with Sky Europe or Sky UK. But please, if you've got a little chance, have a watch at that video. It is very enlightening, and it's also very interesting as well. Also as well, just be aware that vaccination appointments here in Greece can now be made for the ages of 15 to 17 age group. However, parental consent is also required, and there's also a talk about a reward scheme for those that do get the jab between those ages of €150 in giveaways and on a card as before to encourage people to go for the jab. So if you want to be bribed, obviously that is your choice as a parent, whether you want your children to have the jab or not. But it'll be interesting to see what the take up is on that scheme here in Greece. And also as well, as I hinted earlier on in my broadcast, there's a planned demonstration for this Saturday in France against the French President Emmanuel Macron after he ordered compulsory anti-COVID vaccinations for all workers caring for others, and an expansion of the digitalised access system, or their health pass as they call it, which will allow only vaccinated or those who have a negative PCR test to gain entry, not just to bars, restaurants, theatres and long distance transport, but also shopping centres and even hospitals as well. Yeah, under the new legislation that the French are trying to put in, it will be legally that you will be legally unable to access emergency medical services if you cannot prove that you are well enough to enter the premises. And at the moment, the French population, according to figures, only 35% of the French population has had the jab, leaving 65% who either don't want it or have not yet decided to have it. So that's what's happening in France at the moment. As Jane said yesterday, France was burning, but there's more big demonstrations on the way. We've had our own demonstrations here in Greece, in Athens, in Thessaloniki. There was also, I understood, a demonstration here in Zakynthos. Unfortunately, I missed the PR, the publicity for it, because trust me, I'd have been on that demonstration against anti-vaccination, or shall we say mandatory vaccination. I'm not against vaccination. If you want to have it, you have it. That's your choice. But what I'm saying is that I want my choice. I don't want to be forcibly having it, bribed to have it, told to have it, life made difficult because I haven't had it. If most of you have had it, there should be a herd immunity there. That's the bottom line of it. And after having my test yesterday and being told, you're negative, you're okay, I really can't see the hassle of taking a test rather than having a vaccine, which was rushed through in production in a matter of months, where most take years to be done. But anyway, that's by the by. Again, there's been nothing in any of the media reports here locally as about how that demonstration was attended, etc. Nothing at all. It's like there's a media blackout. Maybe it's an oversight, I don't know. But again, I haven't seen anything. And also, and finally, oh my God, when I read this yesterday, I was literally reeling. 1, with a bit of laughter, 2, with a bit of irony, and 3, with a little bit of, you know what, it really pisses me off, all right? The 6 British now teenage girls. More detail is coming out about the 6 young ladies who, in fact, were from a £41,225 a year public school. Now, the mother is claiming that they were effectively kidnapped at 2 a.m. by the Greek police and whisked away to a quarantine hotel for 14 days after just one of them tested positive for COVID. Now, the girls, it seems they were all aged between 17 and 18. They were from the Wickham Abbey School in High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire, and they were in Zante basically celebrating their A-level results. Now, what happened was they took a lateral flow test on Saturday before their flight home, as you're supposed to do, and one of the girls tested positive. Now, despite showing no symptoms, she was taken away in an ambulance and told that she would have to isolate. Now, according to the mother of one of the girls, the remaining 5 girls were whisked away at 2 a.m. in a patrol car to a quarantine hotel where they had to remain for 2 weeks. Elsie Dunn-Weber, who is the mother of one of the girls, was speaking to the Mail online of the terrifying ordeal that they've been through. Now, she's a mother of 4. She has homes in London and Spain. She also stood as a Conservative candidate in 2015's general election, and she's also a patron of a conservation animal welfare foundation who has Boris Johnson's wife, Carrie, as their patron. That's interesting. Anyway, she said they were petrified by the way they were taken away by police at 2 a.m. in the morning. She said they didn't know where they were going and it was very stressful for them. Said, we just don't want the same thing to happen to other people. She then went on to say, the mother, the Greek press has been making out that they had all fled from their quarantine accommodation and they had been caught by the police while trying to flee the country. But this is absolute rubbish because they had just been in an Airbnb house and had permission to fly. They are all good girls. They are polite and well educated. They're not criminals. And at every point they have done what they have been told to. I just find it bizarre how they are being treated. They are in basic rooms. They are in good spirits though, but they are just waiting to get out. Anyway, I had to laugh when I started reading the Mail online comments. There was no sympathy whatsoever for any of the girls. I really wish I'd got a screenshot of all the comments that were made. Some of them were in the area of, oh, there we go, one rule for them, another rule for us. It looks like another 14 days in Zakynthos looks absolutely fantastic to me. I wish I could catch COVID. These were just some of the comments off the top of my head. Nearly every comment was basically, oh, boo-hoo, I don't feel any sympathy for these girls as well. It was interesting then that the Mail then decided to remove the comments so that you couldn't actually read them. And the other interesting thing was the pictures that the Mail, I've got to show you these pictures as well, that the Mail was putting on. This is the horrible situation that these people are now in. They're staying in this in the Kerry Resort and Spa. And don't forget, if they'd been picked up suffering from COVID in the UK and they'd arrived in and they'd tested positive, they'd have been in a travel lodge somewhere outside of Gatwick Airport, costing them £1,900 for the week. So there you go. That's one. And this is the basic room that the mother was saying, oh, this is the basic room that they're in, or a room like this. And they're getting on with it. Oh, they're such martyrs to public health, aren't they? Oh, and this is mother, by the way. There we go. This is Mrs. DeLuise. There you go. Did you vote for her in the last elections? I was just curious. So there you go. A little bit more information on the ladies that made the press here in Greece. And we will see what the outfall is because she is in touch with the vice consulate, according to the Mail. And she's also going into the higher echelons of public office in the UK to seek recompense for the way that these girls have been treated, which, to be honest, if you come on holiday and you test positive, this is what's going to happen. But the thing is, it hasn't actually cost you anything, just 14 days to stay in a nice little spa down in Kerry, a nice area, for another 14 days. You don't pay anything for that, unlike the UK, 1,900 quid. And David Lismore says, I love the story about the prisoners of Zakynthos. I like that. The prisoners of Zakynthos. There you go. They'll be making movies of this. There'll be a Netflix miniseries on the way next year. It'll be interesting to see who'd play the mother. Any ideas? Give me some of your ideas who play the mother. Right, let's have a quick look, see who's been tuning in. Obviously, Dave Lismore is tuning in as well. Nice to see you. Andrew Stonker, he says, hiya, Ginge, senior extra update last night. You looked, I can't even read that last comment there. Was it, you looked, yeah, I was a bit pissed off, to be quite honest with everything. I was more exasperated than anything else. Good morning, Ginge from lovely warm Brighton, expecting temperatures of 26 here, 30 over the weekend in London. So you've got the weather now. So they're making it more difficult for you to come abroad from the UK. Yes, we've got the weather covered. We're not letting you out. All right, Boris is going to see what happens on Freedom Day the 19th for you, as we were expecting a bit of a Freedom Day on the 16th, and that is not happening at the moment from the looks of it. Lorna Grant says, morning, Ginge. Heather Nash says, good morning to you both from a sunny Birmingham. Steve Hodgson is watching. Nice to see you, Steve. I bumped into Steve the other night when I was in Magdalena's. Steve, a listener to the Northern Soul show. We had a good old chat. I think he's one of those who I think either he's not vaccinated or his wife's not vaccinated. So they wouldn't be allowed upstairs, and they would be split up, all right, if he decides he wants to go upstairs or she wants to go upstairs as well. In fact, somebody's just put a little message up, free the Kerry 5. I like that. That's rather cool, that. Yeah, there probably will be a campaign going, free the Kerry 5. I don't think they're on hunger strike at the moment or on a dirty protest. I've not heard any news about that. I think they might be doing a sponsored swim to raise awareness of the plight that they're in, and they're going to swim 5 lengths of the pool every day, which would be the 5 days I think they've got remaining of their quarantine. But anyway, we shall see. Alf Ling is watching as well. Sam Curtis. Anyway, I'm just looking to see if there's any comments that I can get to without it disappearing away. I'm only seeing comments as they come up live, but then again, I'm not sure who's sending me the comment at the moment. Anyway, Steve Kimberley says, morning, Ginge from sunny Solihull. Pity I'm working in a factory. Bless you. I think I read that out a bit earlier on, didn't I? Brian Darlington is watching. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. The reason is I've got to get two of the little fellas to the vets this morning as well. Again, waiting to see what the announcements will be from the Prime Minister later on today. Any more clarity as to how we can operate. And again, it's really kind of annoying that edicts are thrown out by the government with no real clear, proper detail. Everybody thinks on the worst of everything, but at the end of the day, one thing you can't do with the Greek police is argue. That is one thing. You're wasting your time with the Greek police arguing. They will come in, and if they're in their eyes, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. And to be honest, in my experience, you'll go up before the judge, and it's a done deal even before you get in the court as to whether you're going to be fined or not. So again, it is not cut and dried, all right? Things here in Greece are never straightforward. They're never simple. One thing we've always asked for is simplicity in doing things. So we're going to wait and see what is said today as to whether we will go forward. But just be aware, food is still going to be happening starting on Saturday morning with the lovely Dionys at Magdalena's. So you can still get a breakfast at the moment. It's just that we're having to hang fire on the entertainment, and we'll see where we are. Anyway, that's it from me. You take care. Have a great day. I'll keep my ear to the ground, and if I hear anything, I will let you know. Oh, and of course, don't forget tonight, Dance Anthem Show, Beats Radio, kicking off 7 p.m. your time in the UK. That's 9 p.m. my time here in Greece. I probably will be in the chat room this week. I was hoping I wouldn't be there because I'd be at work, but I might be in the chat room. We'll wait and see. Anyway, you take care, guys. Have a great weekend. Keep tuned in, and I'll speak to you later. Ta-ra.